It's coming to c5. On the next move, it's going to hit this pawn, and then it can come into d3. All of black's pieces are active. White's are not doing very much. So I am not optimistic about Fabiano's chances here whatsoever. He's gone rook d1 because he wants to get active. I think this is a good ploy in general. But
Magnus can play rook c2 here. He can play knight c5. Both moves would have threatened the pawn. He chooses to play knight c5, attacking white's e-pawn. I don't see that active a way to defend this pawn now. You can play a move like rook d2, for example, to try and trade off rooks. If there's a rook exchange, white would defend the pawn, but black can simply play rook a4 in a situation like that. This would be holdable for white, but a move like rook a4, you win a pawn, you attack the white knight, you attack the white pawn in the center. I think we'll see this on the board. Fabiano might be dropping a pawn and a minute down suddenly on the clock. This is how Magnus does it. He's just so calm, so calculated in his efforts to press the advantage. At least white's rook can go active now. I think that's what Fabiano will be itching to do, wanting to do. But yeah, Magnus, he's done nothing at all. He's done nothing special. But Fabiano is starting to collapse. It's just a Magnus type of position. There we go. Rook d7. At least one piece is active. And the king coming now. Black can take a second pawn, but if black's knight takes the f2 pawn or the c3 pawn, it won't be on a great circuit anymore. I think Fabiano's found the only way maybe to survive this one, at least the most active, principled way. Nice defense.
Yeah, I think Fabi, fair play to Fabi, getting active with his king, getting active with his rook. When you're on the back foot, you can't remain passive. When you're material down, you can't remain passive. And Fabi has gone active. And Magnus, understanding there is some issues now because this knight is coming into f5 very quickly. And all of a sudden, Fabiano's got legitimate counterplay against black. And Magnus not able to find a way just yet. He decides to take on f2, which is a very surprising decision to me. Takes on f2, knight f5, and he takes on h3, rook g7, and now he's going to be able to mop up. And I think Fabi is now big favorite to hold the draw here.
Yeah, certainly. Magnus is still a pawn ahead. He has a 3 versus 2 pawn advantage. That black knight is going to reroute itself via g5. But look how powerful white's knight is on the f5 square. It's not just in middle games that white knights on f5 are strong. It's also in the endgame, evidently. But Fabi, down to 10 seconds, the clock could still play a big factor. He still has to be accurate. He can't relax. His path to a draw will rely on maybe a favorable trade at the right moment going into a knight endgame or rook endgame when he can swap off all of the remaining pawns. But I'm not sure I like this too much from Fabiano. The white knight on d6, what is it doing there? It's very unclear. Its purpose. There we go. He corrects his mistake. He goes back to f5. And Magnus creating some threats, activating his king finally. And this is the critical moment. Has Magnus blundered into a draw, Lawrence?
Yes.
Suddenly the black king can't escape the checks.
No,
suddenly,
he can't.
Yeah, the king is tied to his knight. And suddenly, if you take the white knight, it's a dead draw. Magnus doesn't acquiesce to that draw. He's going to grab some pawns instead, I was going to say.
Oh, wow. And the knight is
trapped from behind.
This is genius.
Wow. Could indeed be genius.
Rook h8.
Fabiano, why didn't he push g4? He wanted to push g4, but Fabiano, he missed the moment and he resigns.
Oh my goodness me.
Lawrence, I think he had the draw if he'd played g4 just a moment before. I'm not entirely sure, but he just allowed his knight to be trapped. Magnus was 2 pawns up. Magnus takes the win. Let's check out some other games if they are still ongoing. What has happened on the other top boards?